pay for the different services that you have access to. And it's also good to know that the 2/3 of the services that you use are actually provided by the municipalities. So you can imagine how big the impact you would have just by voting. And to know about the different services that are provided by the municipalities, and then you can actually affect are as follows. So in terms of social welfare, you can actually affect elderly care as well as kindergartens. And in terms of the educational sector, you can actually impact anything that has to do with schools, as well as upper secondary schools and vocational education. And you can also affect health services that are local to your municipality. And you can also affect cultural services, such as different libraries that you have access to in your municipality, as well as theaters, for example. And in terms of leisure services, you can also affect anything that has to do with sport premises, sport services, swimming pools, for example. And also really important points and services are infrastructure and public transportation. Infrastructure, is anything that has to do with the housing that you apply to or the housing that you use, the different heating systems in the different infrastructures, the water distribution in your municipality, any urban planning, or any trash and garbage collecting, and any environmental issues that you have in your municipality are actually in those services. And also in terms of public transportation that everybody uses on a daily basis, you can affect that, such as buses, trams, metros, different types of roads and bicycle routes as well. And to give you different materials that could be useful for you if you want to go back to and have different specific instructions or specific information about the elections. I have some here, but please note that due to the change of the voting date of the elections, there are many materials that are still being adapted to the changes that has occurred. So you will see that there will be updating materials on a regular basis. So the first and foremost, most important source I would say that you can always go back to is the Ministry of Justice's election website. It's called www.valid.fi. And there you can find different informations about the elections. You can find materials in different languages. You can find information about how you can vote and the conditions and the eligibility and all the specifics of elections. You will find it in there. You can also find information about different political parties that are registered and anything that has to do with the election system. The second good source that I wanted to mention is not ready yet. It's a good source from Uli News. So whenever there are elections, they release this election compass, which basically is a platform where you can answer different types of questions from different thematics. And then when you answer those questions, they give you the best candidates that you can vote for based on your own ideas. So that's a really good and fun tool that you can use as well. And please note that it will be released next week on the 18th of March. So stay tuned for that because it's a really fun and interesting tool. The second tool that I'm sharing with you is the Youth Election Compass. It's the same system or the same idea as the Ulen uses election compass, but it's mostly targeted towards the youth and their interests and the services and the activities that affect their daily life. So you use that election compass and you answer several questions. And then in the end, they will tell you what are the best candidates for you based on your own ideas and needs. I can, for example, have access to that to give you what it looks like. Here, for example, they have it in Finnish, English, and Swedish. We can choose English, and then you can choose the area that you live in. Let's pick, for example, Helsinki. And then you start. And then they give you a set of questions. For example, here, there is a question about the municipality must make it possible for every child and young person to have at least one free hobby by reserving enough funding for this. And then you can answer that. You can completely agree, completely disagree, or you have like ideas or like in between both. And then you choose it and then you answer and so on. And here they have 16 questions that you answer. And then in the end, you get suggestions about the best candidates for you based on your answers. And finally, there is our Kaki and Valid material page that we are updating on a regular basis. And throughout the elections, we will be, as soon as we have the latest materials regarding the elections, we update them in that page. We have contacts with people from Yle and we have contacts from people from the ministry. Our contacts from the Ministry of Justice are translating currently different types of materials into several languages, and they will be sharing it with us as soon as they're ready. So in our page here, we will be updating different materials. We have different materials in Finnish, in Swedish, and then different like quizzes and Valikoni, the election compasses as well. So stay tuned for more materials. They are coming up as soon as like throughout the whole election period. And yeah, please remember to vote, because the voting is like one vote can actually make a big impact in your daily life in your municipality. So please remember to do that and use your vote. And if you have any questions regarding the Kaki and Valid project or anything that has to do with the elections, any materials that you would like us to share with you, then please reach out to us in our contact details. You can call me, you can send me an email, and you can follow us on our Facebook page, and we will be updating everything that has to do with the Kaki and Valid campaign in there. So yeah, please reach out, and thank you very much for following us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sahar. Very informative presentation. Would anyone like to ask any questions from Sahar at this point? You can also write the questions in the chat. Well, at least I would like to suggest that you take part of this training, because what fascinates me that you had this social media training, which is very important for everybody nowadays. And then you had these election panels, which is very good way to get to know the parties and the candidates.
Yes, exactly. In terms of our training day, we were actually planning it to do it this Saturday, but unfortunately, due to the change in the elections, we also had to adapt, because we wanted to present different types of materials, and those materials are currently being changed. So we are postponing our training day to a further date that is convenient for our trainers, and then we will be posting the new date soon on our social media as well as on our website.
Yeah, that's good to know. Sahar, you also mentioned, what was the percentage of voting percentage among immigrant-based background, people with immigrant background?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the voting participation among people from an immigrant background of like foreign speakers are quite low, actually. Last time during the last elections, the voting was like it didn't exceed 18% of the foreigners who actually had the right to vote. So that's like a very, very few number. And this is the reason why it is so important that like people of an immigrant background know about the elections and know that they actually have the right to vote, because many of them do not know that they have this right. And then how can they actually like impact with their votes, impact their like daily life in their municipality? So that number is very, very low, and we should like make it higher in these elections.
Yeah, that's very good emphasis, because I think the voting percentages have decreased among all citizens, and there is some kind of people are not believing in democracy to that extent, and that's the reason that we are here. We try to enhance ourselves to believe in democracy and to vote. So if there are any further questions for Sahar, So there are her contact address.
Sahar, can you share the links you shared in the slide?
Yes, of course. I will share the links that I have in the slides on the chat section.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you have any other questions that maybe some questions will come up to you later on, then you can, of course, always email me and reach out to me. And I will be sharing any materials that you want to have with you as well.
Ramia, are there any possibilities? So if Sahar would give the whole presentation, do we have any possibilities to give the presentation to the participants?
Yes, possibly. I think at least within the IWF we could share and from the page, and probably there people can have a look. I think at least everybody who's here today, if you have liked the Facebook page of Indian Women in Finland, so if we can share the presentation there, probably you could have a look from there. Would that be okay? Because we haven't collected any email IDs from all the participants this time. So if it is fine with everybody, then we will share it within the IWF page.
Would that be okay for you, Sahar?
Yes, of course, I can do that.
So if you just send your presentation to Ramia later on, that would be great. So thank you so much, and all the good luck for your important work that you are doing, and let's hope to meet you soon again. And thank you for coming to this occasion on behalf of myself and also on behalf of the others too.
Yeah, thank you so much, Atu, in such a short notice for joining and letting us know more information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for the invitation, and thank you for the audience, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also, Sahar, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for sharing your material, Moni Heli material with me, because I have taken advantage of that with my presentation, which is about to begin now, next. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Have a fruitful workshop.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
So next, I'm going to share my presentation. Just wait a minute, please. So can you see it now?
Yes.
So on behalf of myself, also very much welcome to this evening where we are looking at the election issues. And my name is Pikka Marjalainen. And as Ramia also already introduced me, I'm an adjunct professor and a senior university lecturer at the academy. These elections are not my professionalism, but of course, since I come from Faculty of Social Sciences, I know quite a lot about how the municipalities work. And as a citizen, I have then collected this presentation to try to let us all know about how we as citizens can participate in decision making at the level of our own municipalities. I also am part of an Eurooppa-naiset, which is an association for enhancing equality between genders, and taking into account that girls and women are in many ways marginalized if they come from different race, ethnicity, class, and ableness. I work as a volunteer in Monika Naiset, and at this point I want to thank Monika Naiset as I thanked Moni Heli for providing me some of the material of my presentation. I am going to repeat some of Sahar's points, but then I'm also going to add something onto that. So now we are about to have my presentation, which takes a little bit more than 20 minutes, I think. And then we have planned to have brief discussions in small groups in order to let you to express your personal challenges in relation to the services that you face at your municipalities. And then we can share those issues in order to encourage each other for different kind of a participatory actions. So voting is not the only way to participate in decision making. There are other ways too. As Sahar already said, the elections have been postponed. Actually, the parliament has not decided on the new law about this yet, but it's going to happen. And the advance voting is 1 week before the actual voting, Sunday, and it lasts for 2 weeks. And the advance voting is very flexible because then you have various places to vote. Whereas in the actual voting day, you will have that particular polling station, which is announced in that card that you get by mail. And as Sahar said, there is this vaalit.fi web page, and all the information is there. So what is a municipality? Sahar's presentation said that we have 290 something municipalities. My presentation says that we have 309 municipalities, which shows that there are constant mergers going on, and the small municipalities are merging with other ones, so to create a bigger municipality, to have a better, to be able to better answer to the service needs of the residents. But nevertheless, some of the municipalities are called cities, then there are smaller towns and rural areas. And they are the part of the local administration. And it is a representative democracy in Finland that residents, we all are decision makers via our representatives who are the councillors. So in these elections, we choose our representatives and then they take care of the municipal issues. Sahar also presented what is the role of the municipality. So first of all, it has to get some revenues and the taxation, the taxation of residents and the companies, and then the services are provided with that money. And the services are, as already told, education and social services, which are children daycare, elderly care, disabled care, and subsistence security, child protection, and then healthcare and dental healthcare. This healthcare system is going to be changed. There has been this structural design of this change going on for several years, but what are they going to do? And it probably will happen during couple of next years, that the bigger areas, regions, will join their forces in order to organize healthcare. So then this, which is the sort of a biggest part of the municipality tasks nowadays, will be moved to a little bit upper level, and with the joint forces of different municipalities called as regions. But we still, at the in a municipality level, we have education and culture and leisure services, and these are very important, of course, to prevent inequality, to take care of people in a way that they might then not need social services and healthcare services to that extent. So library services, youth centers, sport groups and facilities are very important. And of course, urban planning, because that is how we create our towns and cities in a way that they provide equal opportunities for all the residents. And also advice for businesses and entrepreneurs is part of the task of the municipality. Here in this photo, we have photos of those services. So in this first photo, there is education going on. The second photo is about health services. The third photo, I don't know if you recognize it. If you come from Helsinki, it's Itäkeskus swimming hall. The fourth one is about youth centers. The fifth is about, I think it's about business advices. The sixth is urban planning. The seventh photo represents housing. And the eighth one is about adult education. So all this, which is very close to all of us, happens at the municipality level. And even though the services as such, many of them are governed by national laws, the municipalities still have very much autonomy to decide how to develop these services. And this slide is to briefly give you an understanding how the revenue and expenditures are divided. This comes from Helsinki. And if you look at the lower part of the slide, you see that taxation is over 50%. There's also this white part, which is also taxation. So taxation is more than 50%, and then there are other revenues like revenues from housing, revenues from sales, services. And then if we look at the expenditure part, social and healthcare services are almost half, then education is 1/4, urban planning is a little bit less, and culture and leisure are just tiny bit of the expenditure. And the municipality, how does it make then decisions? So as already said, we as residents, we elect representatives for taking care of our joint municipal affairs. And these representatives are councillors. They belong to different political parties. And for example, the Helsinki City Council has 85 city councillors from different political parties, and it decides on the use of money and the production of services. So as in here, they decide that what kind of a services or in what level we provide the services with the taxation money and other revenues that we are getting. My examples are mostly from Helsinki because I live in Helsinki, but take those as examples. Then the other way to...
sorry to interrupt, Pekka Maria. Could you make it a full screen so that the presentation is can you zoom it a little more?
Okay, sorry, I didn't know that you don't see it as a whole screen. It is a PDF file, so that might be the reason. Can you see it now as a whole screen? Ramia?
No, not really. If you can probably zoom it a little more if possible. Yeah, this is good.
Is this better now?
Yes, it's better.
Can you see the whole slide?
Yes, and we also see the banner on the side.
The small slides.
Yeah.
I can't take them off. I don't know how to hide sidebar here like this.
Now it's better. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you for telling the. And while I'm presenting, I don't see now the chat So if there are any questions or comments, could you, Ramia and Hitomi, please interrupt me and
Yeah, yes, we are already.
okay. So, as Sahar also said, this is the most important thing. Why to vote? To have an influence on how we use money, which means what services are developed. So do we want to develop education in such a way that it decreases inequality, which might be smaller classes and support for special needs of children? Would we like to create sport and leisure activities for youth and adults as well? Would we like to do some actions to tackle the climate crisis? Because that is one urgent thing to do for us to have our lives and services at all. Would we like to allocate more resources for child protection? Would we allocate more resources for housing for reasonable prices? How about development of public transportation? Or actions to enhance business entrepreneurship and especially sustainable ones? So of course all this takes money, but our representatives in the municipal council are the ones who negotiate how to use money for these. So to find the proper representatives, I encourage you to look at the election programs of different political parties. And to help you a little bit with that, I have created this slide. It is based on a map which is created by Helsingin Sanomat during 2015 parliamentary election. But it I can still use it to give a rough understanding how our political parties are in a value space. So you can see two dimensions, right and left, and then conservative and liberal values. And those spaces here are constructed via the election compasses. So what have the candidates responded to the questions of election compasses? And that means that is the answers 2015. And here you see that Finn's party is the most conservative one with Christian Democrats. The Centre Party is in the middle, as the name says. Then National Coalition parties on the right side. There they have conservatives and liberal representatives, candidates. And then on the left lower part, you have these parties that are more on the left and liberal side. There is the Left Alliance, Social Democratic Party, and the Greens. And Swedish People Party is also in a liberal side, but more towards right. And then when we look at the Helsinki city councillors with migrant background, we can see that there is Daniel Sazonov, who is representing National Coalition Party, then Silja Pokartsdottir Sandelin as a representative of Swedish People's Party. And then Yasmin Hamid, Fatim Diarra and Ozan Yanar as representatives of Greens Party, Suldan Said Ahmed, the Left Alliance, and then up Dirahim Husu Hussein and our Deputy Mayor Nasima Rasmuyar as representatives of Social Democratic Party. And as I already mentioned, there are 85 councillors in the City Council of Helsinki, and 8 councillors have migrant background. So almost 10%, not quite. So this participation in decision making, what we have been talking about so far is about representative democracy, and Sahar gave you lots of advice. So you are eligible to vote if you are over 18 and have lived in this municipality for sufficiently long time. And when you have the right to vote, you will get notification card by mail. And there you can see which is your polling station. But as I said, advanced voting is more flexible because those advanced voting places will be various. You always need your ID with you. That is the technical part. But another way to participate in decision making is to join a political party. And you don't even have to be a kind of an official member. If you become an official member, you have to pay a membership fee, and then you can run as a candidate. But you can also join a political party without becoming an official member. But you can join their actions if you would like to start like that way. But if you are then an official member, you can run as a candidate. And just to give you a small example, the last elected city councillor in last election received only 457 votes, and the last deputy city councillor only 251 votes. These were the representatives of Finns party, which is the smallest party. So in that sense, they only needed this small votes. But this gives you an idea that you don't really have to get that many votes if you want to be an activist in city administration. The parties had to provide the list of candidates today because we are still acting according to the current law. But now when the law is changed and it will be changed, it's not changed yet, but it will be changed because the government has decided to postpone the elections. So the political parties will extend the date for other candidates to join in. And I strongly encourage everybody who would like to participate to be aware of this opportunity too. So this is just a photo of voting in a polling station, and then on a left down a lower corner you have those posters. We will get lots of posters when we are closer to the election day, and then on the left upper part of the slide there are membership cards of the political parties. So once again, it's very important that you understand who are you voting and which party you are voting, because even though you would not get through the person you would like to get, the party as a joint coalition of people will have the negotiation power, and you can still contact the representatives, the councillors of the party that you feel familiar with. So I have just collected photos of these election programs. They are in English. This is the Left Alliance. This is the Centre Party. This is the National Coalition Party. So luckily we can find these election programs in English too. Social Democratic Party and the Greens Party. The thing that is not so good so far is that the lists of candidates in the internet in English, there are not, they haven't been constructed to that extent that we would like to be, we would wish them to be. So, for example, the Greens in Helsinki, they say here that you can read more about the Helsinki Greens candidates. But when you press the link, it leads to a page which is only in Finnish. So it says that tutustu ehdokkaisiin, learn to know our candidates, and then you can choose the candidates, you can choose your municipality, and then you can choose the gender. You can have all, or you can have male or female. So let's hope that now when the parties, the political parties, have a little bit more time, they can also create English lists of the candidates, the candidate lists in English. Sahar also mentioned about these election compasses, and this is really good thing. So there is only one election compass that has been launched so far, and this is the Allianssi, Finnish National Youth Council. It has already published its election compass, but then there are many election compasses to become. So, for example, Yle, National Broadcast Company of Finland, and Helsingin Sanomat, they said earlier that they will launch their election compasses mid-March. I don't know whether they will now postpone it because of the elections have been postponed, but nevertheless, this is really easy way, because here you have lots of questions. You answer whether you agree or not agree, and to what extent, and finally you will get a list of candidates that are closest to your opinions. I just took a screenshot of this Allianssi election compass, and here you can see the candidates. So you can also learn to know the candidates through this election compass. But the most important thing is that there are those questions, and via those questions, the IT, the algorithm picks you the candidate that best fits with your own values and answers. There is also this English-speaking Agora in Facebook about Helsinki municipal elections. If you come from Helsinki, you can get familiar with this Facebook page. And there are some candidates with migrant background, which is really good. And we would need more, because many people here in Finland have migrant background. So all of the representatives, well, not all, but they should also be represented in our democracy. This is in Finnish, but these three ladies, they got elected during the last elections. They have been sitting in Vantaa, city of Vantaa city council. I don't know whether they are still candidates, but luckily they have been there. Then another way of participating in decision making, and this is very important. It is called civic engagement. As Sahar also already said, you can always contact the municipal councillors. It doesn't have to be your own councillor, because it might be that she or he would not be chosen. But you can, if you know that this particular political party is for those issues, so you can contact the councillor. Then in Helsinki, there is some official feedback sites. And then the third one is very important, to work in a residents association or in other civil society organizations. Because with the bigger group, you can discuss about the issues and you can initiate, for example, a municipal initiative. An individual resident can also initiate a municipal initiative, but of course it has more power if there are more people on it. Do attend the public hearings whenever they are organized by your municipality. And as part of Helsinki's participation model, there are these borough liaisons, which are people who are in different parts of the city and try to help residents to participate in decision making, to help them to solve the mundane problems they have there. And we also have this participatory budgeting, which means that there are certain amounts of money and residents can suggest how to use it. And if you make a municipal initiative, it's according to law, the councillors have to deal it. So there is a certain procedure. It has to be dealt with. And then one way one form of civic engagement is to participate in petitions, boycotts, and demonstrations. But even though we're talking about elections and voting, I would like to emphasize that after the elections have been done, this civic engagement is the way to participate in decision making. I'm coming to an end of my presentation. This is just to let you know that when you Google Parliament in Finland, you find forums for civic engagement and lots of information about that. A photo of borough liaisons, as I already said, they give residents information and advice on matters associated with these participatory budgeting and how to make, for example, initiatives. And this is a photo of a residents association which has organized some kind of a happening. I think this might be my last slide, and this is a case of civic engagement. Helsinki City Council had decided to terminate a healthcare center in Lauttasaari during 2 election periods, 2014 and 2017. But the Residents Association fighted heavily for it. They organized a poll which showed that 97% of residents wanted to keep their healthcare center. So the city council had planned that all of the residents of Lauttasaari need to go to Kamppi healthcare center. But because of this work of Residents Association, where some members of this Residents Association were also members of the political parties, and they did quite a lot of work and lobbying. And finally, the Social and Health Committee decided not to terminate this healthcare center, and it now serves as it has used to serve 5,000 elderly people and 5,000 children in the area. So this is a good example how you actually can have an influence on very important mundane issues in your own area. So that was my presentation, and now we would have, let's say, 10 minutes for discussion in small groups. And what we thought that might be of interest to talk for you to talk is, what are your personal challenges that could be made better with the municipality? And how
sorry to interrupt you, but
Yes.
before we go there, just a few questions.
Okay.
Do you by any chance have a slide on the Espoo representatives?
No, I don't. No, sorry for that. I just took Helsinki as my example, but you can find that via Googling, and Vantaa as well.
Okay. And another thing I would like to ask is,
Ramya, before you ask another question, because that is now the the period that is going to be terminated. So the most important thing is now that we'll find candidates in the list of candidates that are with immigrant backgrounds. If you want to vote for people who have similar, close to the experiences that you have, it would be very important that we find those different candidates in our candidate lists. Okay.
And is English a criteria to join a party?
And no, English is, so of course you need to speak English because that's the language that the Finns know.
Sorry, I asked the question wrong. I had to ask, is Finnish a criteria? Not English, sorry.
No, you can join the party even if you are an English speaker. But of course, as you know, in any other areas, you have confronted the issue that it's not that easy for Finns in every situation to speak English. But we are an international country, I believe, and all the election programs are in English. So in that sense, you're welcome to join the party, even though you do not speak Finnish. But as you know, it might complicate issues a little bit, but still I encourage you to do that. Are there any other questions, Ramia?
No, thank you.
Okay, so would you like to have a little chat with your colleagues in a smaller group to share the ideas what you have had, maybe to come up with more questions? 8 minutes, and then we can share the discussion and try to figure out if there are some common solutions. These are not easy solutions, of course. This takes time, as my Lauttasaari Healthcare Center example says. It takes a lot of time to influence and to lobby, but that's the way to do the issues. So if I'll now stop my presentation, stop sharing this, so might you take screenshots or photos of these tasks? But it's very easy. What are your challenges in your life and how you could tackle them now when you know about the participatory democracy?
Mika,
Yes?
can you copy paste these questions in the chat?
Yes, I will do that. I will do that.
And how many groups you need?
And wait a minute when I come back so I can see that how many of us there are. So those are so there are 13 participants. What about, and 3 of them are us, right? So what about having 2 groups?
Okay, so do I divide?
Yes, so there are 5 other participants than us in those 2 groups. Can you then kind of change the participants a little bit if I can be in one group and maybe you also can be in another group.
Okay.
Ramya is sitting in the dark.
Yes, sorry, for some reason I have some problem with the light. So.
I don't mind, it just looks so kind of funny.
You said 20 minutes?
No. We only have only some, let's say 10 minutes discussion maximum, and then we gather back to the joint room.
Okay. Now I open. Can you go to the groups? I see 2 people stay here.
Hi, Reena here.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
So Hitomi, are you, sorry, one second. Hitomi, you're also part of the group, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I saw in the big room.
Yeah.
2 people stayed, and they
Okay.
didn't join the group. I don't know if they had problem to join.
Okay. So maybe we could have just one room and then discuss there. I think it would be easier that way.
But I think it's okay, like 2 groups.
Okay. So Reena, sorry, what
Yeah,
did you
no
want
problem.
to share?
Yes, I'm not sure it's not an issue, but then an opinion or a suggestion. In Espoo especially, I mean, I think every municipality has just one international school, but now year by year, there are a lot of immigrants coming in, and mostly when it is immigrants, initially, everybody prefers English school. So I think every municipality should think of, increasing the number of seats. Maybe an additional school, English international school in every municipality would be a big ask, but then at least they can, think of having, increasing the number of seats in every school to at least a few numbers. Because it's getting very challenging each year, and there are, unlike 5 years before, it's not the same scenario now, is my experience. So that is one suggestion which I would like to put across.
Yes,
As such, problems so far, touch wood, I haven't faced anything big or anything difficult which I would like to point out here. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's good to hear. And of course, many of us have the same problem, and with bilingual daycares and bilingual schools, or just English schools being very minimum.
Yes, right.
Anybody else have anything else to share? Nandita, Shashank, or SM? Do you have any other challenges that you face, or do you have any suggestions on how to tackle the situation?
Hi, Sanita here. I unfortunately cannot change the name in Skype. So I've been trying for the past few days in many meetings. So my issue has been that I basically do not know where to find the candidates. Like if it was in India, we see posters everywhere. It's very less over here. Okay. And sometimes we are not sure, or I don't know if it's my problem, but I last election I had that issue as to where to find the all the people here. But then today I heard it in the initial phase where you can find them in valid.p. So that was one of the issues I faced in the last election.
Okay, but do you have any issues related to the municipality that was related to elections, but in our day-to-day life, that do you think that something we miss, or it would be easier if that facility was here, or
not to contradict to Reena, but everyone have their own concerns regarding English education, but I have basically felt that the English education or the English school in Espoo lacks many opportunities that the Finnish schools are receiving in terms of support for students because there are very less staff compared to the normal Finnish school. I have personal experience because my daughter is in EIS and my son is in a Finnish school, and she has not received half the facilities that my son is receiving. So while we speak about increasing seats in English schools, we should also think about increasing opportunities for kids, like the facilities that they receive in Finnish schools should be available in the English schools as well. That's something.
Could you like give us an example? What kind of facilities?
If a child is finding it difficult to study a language in the class, there is a facility for them to go into a smaller group where
Okay.
there is a helping teacher who helps them to learn more clearly.
Okay.
That is not available in EIS. I have not seen it anywhere in any of the classes. My child is in the final year in EIS now, and that sort of support was not kept forward to us as a possibility. But that is available in Finnish schools. I have personally experienced it.
Okay.
Then there are many other, I think it's mainly to do with the funding, as far as I understand. But there are still more in-depth issues related to schools, what EIS is receiving compared to the Finnish school.
Okay.
Well, I agree on this because my son also goes to a Finnish school, and then I am way more happy compared to the English school because I had an experience with him in a English school as well for 1 year, and then we moved him to Finnish. So, of course, level of satisfaction and the way teaching and etc. I am happy. But having seats is also a concern, at least over a period of time now. I mean, earlier it was not, but then yes. So I would agree on both the points.
Okay, that's good to know. And any other sector other than schools where there are challenges like healthcare or like Nevola or even like for the maternity side? Or
I would like to share. I don't know. I just shifted to Espoo last year, but I was living in Helsinki since 7 years.
Okay.
Espoo is new to me, but we shifted in Corona situation. We do not know many things, but one thing what I have noticed is that I had a dental appointment here 2 times, and I got a very long queue, a waiting queue, and that's too much long time. That is one of the thing I have thought, because if it is Helsinki, then there I normally get it much earlier, but it was so long queue. I have been waiting for my dental appointment. And
yeah, it is currently very bad, like due to Corona as well. The waiting times are long unless it's emergency. Nowadays there are no appointments in the first place, so I don't know if, it was not this bad before Corona, but at least now the waiting times are more. Unless it's emergency, you don't get an appointment.
yes, but what I think that there should be more centers for this dental care should be there, because what I have found that it's I am living in Lephavara, and every time I got it in Kilo Karthano.
Yeah,
and
that's the nearest for you.
So what I think that it's far. It's not near for me, because I don't have car and I have to travel to there by bus. So I have to take 2 buses to get to there. So it's not that near to this in this Lepawara area. I don't know if there are more health dental care centers in Lepawara, but I found it there only. I got the appointments from there only. That's why I asked.
Yeah, there's one next to Satharan Porti as well, but yeah, that we could, you could like also when you call them for an appointment, they should tell you what is near as well. But yes, now it's a different situation altogether. Let's hope that the future there are more centers. And Shashank, do you have anything to share?
Yes, I have a completely different experiences because I moved in single with into Finland for the last 5 years, and this is the first time I'm voting. And I've been living predominantly in Helsinki and Leppävaara. So what I would focus maybe for this session is two things: is like the Finnish education and the subsidies provided around that are we living? Okay, but we have like 50 seconds. I'll take about 20. Yeah. So the Finnish education and everything, we need an inclusive group where it's being taken care by shortcut community, which are NGOs, but they should be more with similar to partner integration. There should be some streams which we can join as people who are learning Finnish or people who are busy with their daily work life can also integrate significantly. So part of it are there, but nowadays with Zoom call, it can be top down from a government municipality, which encourages it. Okay. Second thing is, so that's a solution and a problem combined for you. Hopefully it will be helpful. And the second thing is on, oh, maybe.
Hello. I think we are back and
yes, we actually might have needed a little bit more time. I don't know about your group.
Yeah, we didn't complete as well. There was Shashank who was talking, so if he could like finally probably say what he had in mind, and then we can wrap it up. Otherwise, we were almost done. Just had one last person talking. And then
I also have something more to say.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. But
well,
if
would it be okay if we continue the discussion here together? So that
I think that would be good.
Yeah. Is Shashank going to tell first, or I?
Yeah,
I can finish in 10 seconds.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Sure. So this one is with the my partner moving to Finland with the residence permit and the delays I've been hearing about. There's no proper way to escalate things around immigration. I mean, like there's a lot of forum activity, but to get any traction, how do we make it more trackable with the municipalities or correspondingly with the central government? Is this the right forum, right candidates to do that, or?
Regarding the migrant you're talking about, if these people could help.
Yes.
Would pick
something like Schengen visa is cancelled right now.
Yeah.
Which used to be the way we my friends brought in before the residence permit was finalized.
Right now, yes, because the situation is different because of Corona, everything is working differently right now. The embassy is not open in full for any tourist visas, and resident permits is taking longer than what it normally should. So the situation currently is a lot different than what the normal situation is. So we are still, especially here in Finland with the lockdown and everything. So this is something that is in discussion with Migree by our Indian ambassador as well. Yeah, so this matter has been highlighted. Of course, we don't have any concrete answers on the table right now, but this is something, yes, already been discussed, at least the Migree part of it, because it's a big issue right now for a lot of people who are awaiting for the resident permit and things like that.
Got it. Thank you.
So you had this important issue on immigration on table. What other issues did you talk about in your group?
There's one more. Nandita wanted to discuss something. If she could say what her point was, and then I can wrap up what the what we discussed?
Yes, I want to say because because I have last year I just moved to Espoo, and when I compare Espoo with Helsinki, I find, for example, I find that there is more what would you say, more.
I think what we have observed, like we have been living in the near the Lepavara, what we have seen that the municipality needs to be much more attentive towards the cleanliness. What I have observed when I compare to the Helsinki region, it was much more cleaner when I compare to the Espoo region. So this is.
I don't know where we have been moved. It's Lepavara, Etela Lepavara. Here we find a lot of dog shit on the road, and people does not pick it up, and it's really very sad for us to see, and we sometimes step on that, and I don't know how people why people do not pick
My
it.
question was like,
yes.
if whoever is the like municipality has given contract to for this cleanliness, they should check like whether they should give to the correct one, or are they following the norms? Because I have seen from the last 1.5 years, although there are a lot of construction, but I still believe like it's not adequate. Yeah, this is one of the observation I have, like,
yeah,
compared.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. And Pekka Maria, now I could wrap up on what we discussed. One point was about having more English schools, because in Espoo area, the only English school right now is EIS, and after that, also like it was also highlighted that EIS also lacks a lot of other opportunities and facilities compared to the Finnish schools. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. And then the other things were like, now, for example, dental appointments and other things the waiting times are too long. So if there's some help regarding that, and also like it was difficult earlier to find out where the candidates are, who the candidates are. And now after today's session, thank you so much that they could actually know now to go to valley.fi and find out what the candidates are, where the candidates are. And then the last few points I think we discussed here now. For example, the migree and the cleanliness and things like that. So these were the points discussed mainly within our room. So over to you now.
Okay, thank you so much. I might, we had, actually also I had to interrupt one person in our group to give room for the last one, and he didn't have time to finish his saying. So could you continue the last person's, what you had in mind when we had to come back to this joint session, please?
I don't find him here. I
Okay,
think
maybe
so.
he has left already. Well, I might share my screen now to let you know what we have been discussing. So can you see it now? I took notes about your wrapping up. Ramia, can you see it? More English schools with more.
Yes, that's good. Thank you.
And waiting times are too long for healthcare, or for what?
Yes, for healthcare. And the cleanliness in Espoo compared to Helsinki isn't.
Yeah, that's, yes. I must say that Helsinki has put lots of effort on these issues. So sorry for the Espoo residents.
And facilities in the Finnish school versus the Espoo International School.
Yes, more English schools with more resources. It's the first one here. Can you see it? And then about these immigration issues. And what we discussed in our group was the lack of awareness for participation, and people were, at least a couple of our participants were discussing how to enhance the involvement towards your neighborhood, and how to make this more interactive if people are not participating, if people are not speaking Finnish, so how to make this participation more attractive and interactive, so it's not just English speaking people, but how do Finnish people speaking people allow this interactiveness? That was what I got out of the discussion. And then there was one good example how this highway, which has been built too close, and the wall got built, and the awareness about the forums. I think it was about this, how to participate. The group, people in my group, can you add on this, please?
Yes, I was talking about the initial involvement of immigrants into the Finnish neighborhood, because this is big. This is a main reason why we feel that something is not being done from our end, or we have been lost in the Finnish jungle. And so I feel that somehow I feel that the awareness among us is very less. For example, what I was thinking is people, if you start from my case, like as I said before, when we came initially to Finland, then it's like the first 2 years you are just out of the blue, and you just live your life. And then the moment you get the card for your voting process, then it thinks that something comes and pings you up that you are into the society, and you should look into your society, and you should have some kind of an awareness. And then, to be very frank, I started looking into some things as well, who is there and what is happening in and around, and things like that. And at that time you need somebody to, for example, a work friend or your neighbor or whoever it is, and you get to know things. And so the next year, 4 years later, then you are a little bit more, of course you are getting lost in the middle, and nobody is going to be society friendly or society-istic nature. So because we are not born like a politician or something like that, so we are just normal people. So then the next election comes again, we start thinking about this. But then what happens is that the awareness or the things, we live in our own community, and we don't think about the Finnish speaking ones, or we speaking into the Finnish society. Both the things are into it. But then the reach among our society, for example, today we have posted a lot of things in our group about this, and we have never got any people into it. What does it mean actually is that there might be two scenarios. One is like they might be aware of it already and they are not coming to it, or they think that anyway their voice is not going to be heard, so they are not going to, they are not bothered about it. Or I don't know which to select. I think there should be a polling or something has to be done. A survey has to be done and taken from the immigrants' point of view. Or we can also think about having a representative from each to represent in Finnish. If, for example, those who are not able to speak in Finnish, they can try to raise their voices loud. So that is another thing. I wouldn't say that language is a big thing as of now, a big barrier, because even you can translate all the pages and other things with Google Translate and try to find something out of the lot and try to understand what's going on in your, because you are doing that in your workplace as well. So it's not a problem that you are taking into your society. And the third thing is, however, whatever you are doing to the society, for example, selecting the right person or something like that. For example, when I speak to my neighbors, then I got to know that so many things, who is there in the area, who is maybe two of my neighbors actually was standing in the election. And lot many new things you come to know. And speak to the elders, whoever is in the locality. You think that you are not, they are not going to speak, or you cannot speak to them, or so many issues, but then I feel that I've got many information from them about what is going to be built in my place nearby to my house, or what is going to come in that a big open land, which is because they all give you so many informations. For example, for example, even espo.fi they might say, and you can get into that and look into things. And this has been my personal feeling. And what I have said is, whenever we have post many things in our groups into the immigrant people, they actually think that it's anyway not going to be heard, so why to bother these kind of things like that. And and another thing is, immigrants, as we say, we are not we are actually covering many people inside this pool, because immigrants who are expats, who are come with different reasons, and all the bunch of people whom we are. But then the expats, we are educated, and we can try to exploit our educatory tools to find what are the things that are available. So that's what I was trying to say. And I think that as an association, we have to collectively look into it and find what is our exact problem which is happening in the immigrant, at least in the expat immigrant situation. Because as you said, it was only 18%. It's very, very poor voting as of now. And to be very frank, if the elections are moved from this April to June or July, whatever it is, I feel that many people wouldn't even be at in place in town, and that would actually affect a lot of voting things, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Because what I was feeling is, everybody take in the Indian community itself, many people we have planned for vacations. And that was one thing which is running in my mind when we were discussing even in our home when the elections was postponed. And I don't know why this is being made.
You have to remember that there is this advanced voting time which starts in the about mid-May.
Should I be very very specific? The moment we step out of the house and we take a vacation, we actually forget everything, because very many people are going after 1 year, 2 year, 4 years, 3 years to their natives. And really, to be it's a shame, but then I have to share the real reason or reality in this, that many immigrant votes are not going to be casted if it is going to be in June. And that's a little straightforward answer. And maybe I think when you see the election things going on now, and I can know what is the happening in right now in politics. So that's a little bit alarming, but then we can be a little bit aware. We can show our awareness in this and try to. I think we still have 2 more months of campaigning things going on within the society, at least in the immigrant society. And some polls or something has to be taken up, rather than, because the issues which all the things I see here, the English schools, healthcare, and everything, whatever we are saying here, it's all the second step what we speak about. The first step is, are you going to vote for the right person? Do you know what's happening really? What do you want, especially? And what is a manifesto, what they are giving? That's going to be the primary part of it. Yeah. And I feel that
this is very important and also alarming what you are saying. I don't know if you can see, but I wrote here, if IWF can encourage participation with the good exemplary cases. Can you see what I have written here, or does it not show to you?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, so and then there is also this question in a chat asking, are we going to share a forum where we can raise the issues to city administration? And I don't think that there is not a general forum, but it needs to be, like in Helsinki, we have this borough liaisons, and then we have these residents associations. And of course, Indian women, Indian men can also join their forces, but they have to be in one municipality to have an influence on that municipality. So I think that you as an IFW could have a role in this, but you have to think about that, as the previous speaker said, that people are not aware of the ways to participate, but they also might have not faith on that. And I think that the same goes with Finns. So it's not only Indian people, it's also Finnish people who have this same issue. Oh, sorry. Indian women in Finland, sorry. IWF, of course. But nevertheless, so Ramia, here you have a case to think how you can advance what we have started today, this evening.
Yes, thank you. And to all the participants, thank you to you. And this is the first step that we've taken to get a little closer to how we could actually, living here in Finland, make a difference and help the community as well. So if interested, we will have more sessions in depth to see what are the next steps that could be taken. But this today's session is at least a start to know where to vote, when to vote, who can vote and how to vote. So I think that message has been clearly sent to everybody. So thank you so much for the presentations to both you, Pekka Maria, and also Sahar. And yeah, and thank you very much, Hitomi, as well, for putting this together.
Thank you to everybody, and the discussion continues, so we don't have to decide on everything tonight, as Ramia said. So unfortunately, the elections will be postponed. They are in the beginning of June, but let's hope that you can do something to encourage more people to vote. And I will be happy to participate if you have other use for me.
Yes, definitely. We'll be in touch with you for more sessions coming forward. Thank you so much for that. And thanks a lot for all the participants for staying till the end and participating, sharing us your views. And we hope that you continue to do the same in our future sessions as well. So somewhere in the future that we can try and make a difference together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you. I was actually wondering because I thought it was scheduled until 7:30. So I actually kind of thinking if it really ended or there's still something.
No, we kind of, because very few people in the group discussion, so we ended.
Okay, fine. No worries.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your participation. Thank you.
It was very informative session. Thank you, Ramya.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you.
So Ramya, if I'll send my presentation to you, you can put it wherever you want to put it.
Yes, please. That would be very helpful. And thank you very much. It was very, very useful, and it was a very informative session. I'm still okay that Renuka is in the call because she's one of our board members. So she's going to be hearing all of this anyways again. So that's fine that she's also there in the call.
Okay.
But yeah. So thank you so much for this. It was, I think it was very informative, and it would be good that if we could please send me the slides and even the recording, Hitomi, if I will try and share them as well. At least for those who didn't participate, it would definitely help them also to get all the rightful information that they could get from us. And
as I said, it would be good that you would have some exemplary cases where people can see that you can actually have an influence, because that's the reason, that's the situation in all Finland for all of the citizens. People are not believing in democracy, in representation.